Hello internet world, we are live on the YouTube again and I'm really pleased to be able to bring you this really special broadcast because I've got some fantastic technology to share with you today. So in today's video I'm going to be covering the Virgin Media V6 set-top box, also the Sony Xperia XA and a whole lot more besides. Now, before I get good and proper into this particular broadcast, I do just want to mention to you that I am actually broadcasting this from the iPhone 7 Plus, and I was going to be using the Sony Xperia XA today. But instead of using this for the broadcast, I'm actually going to talk to you about it to give you a bit of background about this particular smartphone, how it's been performing, some of the good things and some of the bad things about this, and I'll be covering that a little bit later. Thank you to everyone who's joined in to this particular broadcast. I always really do appreciate it. You always get in here very, very quickly. I've got a few bits of information to cover off with you first before I get into this particular broadcast. And the first thing I want to actually cover is that I will be using the super chat a little bit later on as a little bit of a commercial break. And the reason I'm going to do that is just to say thank you to everyone who's joined in the broadcast, but also to the people that support the channel through the super chat. If you're not familiar with what that is, when you see the chat window, there's a little bar at the bottom next to the emoticon symbol, and in between that and the OK button, there's a little dollar symbol. That's how you enable super chat. It's not for everyone, but if you want your question or your comment highlighted, you can use that feature. And as I say, I'll be using that a little bit later on. Now, before I get onto the main subject matter of this particular video, with my very creative title, I hope you appreciate my title on this particular video. I'll be covering the Virgin Media V6 box. This is a brand new box that's just come out from Virgin. I have one sitting just off to the side of me. I'm also going to be talking a little bit about a new camera setup that we've got coming in. Super excited about that. Before I do so, I just want to say hello to a few people. A big hello to Bothwell, also to Funster Productions. Hello. Ryan Darcy, thanks for tuning in, Ryan. I really do appreciate it. Aviation Videos, Grace Cinematic, Life Tips UK and Computer Boy. Thank you so much for all joining into the live broadcast. I'll tell you why I keep doing these so regularly now is purely because I love the interaction. Now, you all know I've been doing videos on YouTube for over 10 years, and it's not all about the views. It's not all about how many subscribers a channel's got. It's about the community, the Geekanoids community. It's about you guys and girls and the fact that you chat to me, you leave me comments, you tweet me, and I just really do love the interaction, and it encourages me to share my passion for technology on the channel. Before I get on to talking about the first product, I will just mention that if you are new to Geekanoids, then please do subscribe to the channel. If you're not already a subscriber, please do subscribe. Got a few more people come in as well. Fayaz Patel says there's frame rate issues. It's all looking good at my end, so hopefully that buffer will catch up soon. I've got a really good connection today. Also, Gordon Keenan saying he's having audio and video with a few little blips in it. But overall, generally people are saying the connection's okay. So do let me know if there are any issues and I'll try and iron those out a little bit better next time. A big hello to Tim C as well, to Roger who says there's no audio or video problems, to Uwe Klinkmuller, Jessica Edmonds. Hello Jessica, thank you for tuning in. Life Tips UK, and of course everyone, I just really do appreciate it. And Stephen's just tuned in as well. Now again, before I talk to you about the Virgin Media box, which is the main subject of this video, Aviation Videos has mentioned something that you tweeted to me. I do remember this tweet. 3-axis gimbal suggestions for the GH5. That's going to be hard for me to recommend at the moment purely because GH5 isn't out. I know it's very similar to the GH4 but I don't even have one of those in the studio at the moment. In fact, the only Panasonic camera I've got at the moment is the Panasonic G80 or G85. There are plenty around on Amazon, and I will try and research that a little bit more. I'm planning a live broadcast Q&A for this Friday, so this Friday, round about the same sort of time. So if you manage to tune in then, I will have tried to have done a little bit of research on that and see if I can come up with some suggestions for you. So anyway, thank you again to everyone who's joined in. I'm going to cover this, which is the main topic for today. This is the new Virgin Media V6 box. Now I know it's not going to be for everyone. Not all of you that are viewing this broadcast are in the UK or able to get Virgin Media. But I've been a Virgin Media customer for a good couple of years now. I left Sky primarily because of their prices. I use Virgin Media for my broadband, and the broadband they deliver is absolutely fantastic. I'm on about, I think it's about 180 megabits per second download, which is awesome. And upload is around about 18 to 20 megabits per second. And I get their television service and their phone service, their landline, which I hardly ever use, but I get that free included with my broadband subscription. So the Virgin Media television was really good. The previous TiVo box I had was, how can I say it, really bad. It was so slow and sluggish that sometimes it was just unbearable. You would push a button on the remote control. This is the remote. I'll give you a closer look at that in a minute. And you would wait, and you would wait for it to respond, and you would push it again, and then it would jump past what you had previously selected. And even playing something back, sometimes you could wait 1 minute or maybe even longer for one of your recorded shows to actually start playing. It was that bad. But because it was free, I know I'm indirectly paying for it, but because it was a free service, I didn't complain really. I mentioned it to them on a few occasions. They suggested doing a restart on the box, which yes, did improve things, and then it soon became sluggish again. And then they announced this, the V6 box, and this is absolutely awesome. I'll tell you about how awesome it is in a short while. Little guide around the box. It's really nicely designed. It's about half the size of the previous Virgin Media set-top box. This is called the V6, perforated on the top, a little bit of perforation underneath as well. On the back, we've got a SCART out, which looks like S-video. That looks like an S-video connection to me. Also audio out, HDMI, USB, Ethernet, optical, and the power connector. And a little teeny weeny little power button. That is so small. And then one of the changes that happened on the back of this box is this RF input or coax input. Now the coaxial input has actually changed. Previously it used to screw on, and now they've put an adapter on the back of my existing cable, and now it just plugs in. Looks like a normal TV aerial, but this is the coaxial in. And then on the front we've just got a power button, the Virgin logo, and a volume up and down, or a plus and a minus, which is volume up and down. This doesn't have a display on it at all, so no display on the front of the box. Now I'll just give you a quick look at the remote. The remote is pretty much the same as the previous generation. It's just a little bit more compact, looks a tiny bit more modern. There's not a lot in it, but it's just a really nice remote control. You've got thumbs up and thumbs down buttons as well, which you use for setting things like your favourites and for voting on shows. And the box learns what you like. So as well as recording your scheduled recordings, it also records programs that it thinks you'll like. So you get to discover new programs as well along the way. Now the thing that's awesome about this is not only the speed, it's lightning fast. You push the button, it reacts. You push play to play back a recording, it plays back almost instantly. You switch channels, you pull up the guide, everything reacts really fast. We've also got 4K UHD. Broadcasts come in very soon from this, but it does 4K streaming at the moment. And also you can record up to 6 programs at the same time. How cool is that? 4 programs at the same time. Sorry, 6. I went completely wrong. It used to be that you could do 3 or 4, and now it's 6. Haven't even got enough fingers. Look at that. 6 programs at the same time with this Virgin Media V6 box. Now I can't show you it working because the screen in the studio is off to the left of me here, but the user interface remains unchanged. So no differences at all, but this just works absolutely fantastically. And I'm so pleased that I got it. I did actually order it about 7 or 8 weeks ago and there was a waiting list. I asked them to send it to me and I'd self-install it, but they said no, an engineer has to come out and install it. The engineer arrived, plugged it in, said wait 30 minutes, turn it off and back on again, and he was gone within 2 or 3 minutes. So I could have easily installed it myself and had it a long time ago. But it is fantastic, highly recommended. At last, a Virgin box with great performance. I think they say it's up to 10 times faster than the previous box, and I do believe that claim. So that's the Virgin Media V6 box. Now, I can see a lot of you commenting in the comment section. I'm going to go through those comments in a short while. If you have got any questions or comments you want highlighting, please do feel free to use that super chat feature. It highlights your comment in a colour and it helps support the channel as well. But let's go through some of the comments. Nicholas Hunt, hello Nicholas, says it's working well on your S7 Edge. That is awesome, really, really good. Jessica Edmonds is with Sky. I absolutely love Sky. In fact, I prefer the Sky user interface than this particular interface on the Virgin Media box. I think Sky have done it really right. You know, they've top notch on the user interface, but I didn't like the cost associated with it. And Sky overall as a company, I had some sort of disagreements with them along the way, and well, let's just say I wasn't that impressed. So anyway, before I look through the rest of the comments, don't forget to tweet a link out to this broadcast. If you can share it on Twitter or on Facebook, I really do appreciate it. The more viewers we get in on the broadcast, the more interaction I get and the more questions I get. So please do take a moment to just share a link to this particular broadcast. Who else have we got in the chat? We have got Review the Best. Hello Dave, hello to you too. Stephen, yeah, the old TiVo is laggy, takes ages to respond. Couldn't agree more there. Jake Summers, hello to Jake, hello to John as well, and Ollie and Harvey. I really do appreciate you joining in. If I miss anyone, apologies. I'll try and include as many people as I can. Peter Westerland, hello Peter, nice haircut. Well, what I've got left has in fact been trimmed, and I went really short this time purely because there is not much left there on top, but I appreciate the nice comment. And Life Tips UK says mine's an iPhone 6 and yes, YouTube and internet always stops working, only on my home Wi-Fi. That is very strange. You say that you've tried restarts and it doesn't help. Perhaps it's something to do with the band you're connecting to wirelessly on your router. I've recently installed a mesh Wi-Fi network and it works fantastically, the Netgear Orbi. Really very, very stable connections. So try maybe a Wi-Fi range extender or positioning your router in a different position in your house. You mentioned you're connected to TalkTalk as your internet service provider. Have a chat with them and say that your Wi-Fi is really not very good. So just ask them for suggestions as well, but something like a Wi-Fi range extender could very well help. Benny, ever thought of getting a chat moderator? For the live broadcasts, when I used to do them a few years back, yeah, you used to get people come in and they'd spoil the chat by, you know, putting silly comments in there. And sometimes it can be distracting, sometimes it can spoil it for others. But for the most part, I can ban somebody if I really, really want to, but I just ignore it because it doesn't really warrant taking up any of anyone's time. So not at the moment, but great suggestion. Maybe I'll look at that in the future if need be. Kieran Allen asks, would you recommend Virgin TV over Sky? The Sky user interface, as I mentioned previously, is a lot better in my opinion. Virgin Media, I am not a big TV watcher, like mainstream programs. I watch a few series, but for the most part, I use Now TV and I also use Amazon Prime TV, and I rent movies from there. I mainly enjoy watching movies rather than television programs. So I watched Sky Movies when I had Sky, but it just wasn't for me. I didn't like the price. So I would recommend Virgin. It's great value for money. Any more questions coming in through the chat? I can't see any at the moment, apart from a couple of highs from Paul Fish and Wade Ross. Hello to you both. Thank you very much for tuning in. Now, before I show you the next product, I'm just going to take a quick drink, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about new camera setup, and then I'm going to move on to this Sony Xperia XA. Hello to Mike as well. Mike from MJ Electronics. Les Sharma asks, what TV package am I on? I think I'm on, they call it small, medium and large, I think, on Virgin. And I'm on the medium package. And as I say, it's a no cost option for me because I'm on their top tier broadband. So I get the television for free. And hello to Ricardo as well. So let's move on. I want to show you my current main camera. This is what I record most of my videos on the YouTube channel on. And this is the Panasonic G80. Now, I use other cameras. I do run another business as well, which is like commercial videos. And I use different cameras for my commercial videos. This G80 is used primarily for the YouTube videos. And on the front of this is Micro Four Thirds, Panasonic. And on the front, I've got a Micro Four Thirds lens from Olympus. This is the Olympus 12 to 40 millimeter lens. And on top, I've got a Sennheiser AVX system. This is a wireless receiver, and I use it not with this microphone, but with another microphone. So I use it with a Sennheiser mic that's connected to a wireless transmitter pack, and that wireless transmitter pack clips onto my belt. And this is a really good setup. This is going to be replaced very, very soon. And it's going to be replaced with the Panasonic GH5. So I've got that coming into the studio, and I'm super, super excited about it. And I'm just sharing this with you so you know a little bit about what's changing in the Geekanoids studio and what's coming up. I've also got a new tripod setup planned for the GH5, which is going to consist of a horizontal bar. And then on that bar, I'm going to have the Panasonic GH5. I'm going to use the same Olympus lens on it because I really do love this lens. It's just fantastic. This is a 12 to 40 millimeter zoom lens with a constant f2.8 aperture. And then alongside that on the horizontal bar, I'm also going to have an external monitor, a 7-inch monitor, which is going to allow me to frame my shot correctly. And I'm also going to start experimenting, and this is a bit of an exclusive reveal for you. I'm going to start experimenting just over here to the right of me with a green screen. So I'm going to try a little bit of green screen work with the GH5 and a new lighting setup as well. When it's all set up, I will share that with you, and I'll obviously share the results as well as a look around the setup as well. But the GH5 is a very, very exciting camera, and I predict it's going to be the best video production oriented camera of 2017. The GH4 was amazing, and I think the GH5 is going to blow everything else away. It really is going to be that good, and I haven't even tried it, but I'm that confident it's going to deliver. I've seen video footage from it. I've watched a lot of other sort of early sort of reviewers get their hands on it, and they're all saying it's absolutely awesome. So that's just a little bit of an update for you on my camera setup and what I've got planned. Now, I'm going to take another short break. If you've got any super chats at all to add, if you want your comment highlighted, use that super chat function. If you've got any questions, you can highlight those with the super chat as well. If you want to put it into the normal chat, I'll answer a few questions before I move on to the final product of this broadcast. So, Dexter Flannel says, the title of the broadcast made me laugh. That was intentional. Thank you very much. I also saw somebody else mention here, it is Ollie Exton, says, can you mix and match lenses then? So you're referring to this being a Panasonic body and an Olympus lens. This is a Micro Four Thirds mount. So as long as you're getting a Micro Four Thirds lens, you could use Panasonic, you could use Olympus on it. You could use Samyang, Rokinon, Wolimex. There are a few other manufacturers as well. So as long as it's a micro four thirds lens, then yes. You can also get plenty of adapters. So you can get an adapter for micro four thirds and use a Canon EF mount lens on it as well. So yes, you can interchange lenses. Any micro four thirds lens will fit on any micro four thirds camera natively. Next question is from Wade. Wade asks, would you recommend the new Fuji X-T20? I haven't used it, so I can't really comment on it. I have heard from one of my good friends that I chat to privately on Twitter, who is a photographer, that it does perform really well. The 4K video is, again, perfectly acceptable. Photography wise, it's a really good performing camera. So yeah, it's a good camera. If you want to give Fuji a try, I think the X-T20 is a great choice. I've also got another Fuji camera coming in very, very soon to the studio. So do keep an eye out for that. Fayaz Patel asks, what camera is this being streamed from? This is actually being streamed from the iPhone 7 Plus, and it's just got a little wireless lapel microphone plugged into it, so you get good quality audio. Front facing camera, so I can see my shot framed on the screen, and I can also see the chat both on the iPhone and also on my laptop, which is just down here out of shot. Next question is, and this is not a question, this is a very good point. Morgan Wright says, hi Dave, people forget that the Panasonic GH series are great stills cameras as well, and that is very, very true. Quick question from Sean Major, do you ever use Osmo Mobile? I did use Osmo Mobile, but it had a lot of issues, but it still was a great device. I know they've improved it since, they've done a lot of firmware updates. So if you're looking for a gimbal for your smartphone, then Osmo Mobile could be a really good solution. Ollie Exton says, what lenses would you recommend? It really depends on what style of video or photographs you're taking. I really love that 12 to 40 millimeter Olympus lens. Panasonic do a 12 to 35 millimeter, and it's a good all-round sort of range lens, and it allows you to sit the tripod, you know, arm's length and get a nice wide angle. So that's sort of my go-to lens. MJ Electronics, Mike has asked, what is a good full frame camera? Again, it depends on your budget, Mike, and it depends on whether you're photography oriented or video oriented. The Canon 5D Mark IV is a great full frame camera. We've also got a new full frame from Fuji just came out, which is a really big ask money wise to invest in it, but the photos I've seen coming from that are so sharp. We've got the Canon 1DX Mark II as well, brilliant for both photography and video. So there's lots of options out there. What you must think about though is a lot of people get caught up in this full frame thing. They think they need full frame. And yes, it is nice. It does gather a lot more light. It does give you a lot more scope when you're producing videos, allows you to go wider angle. But then something like the Canon 5D Mark IV, super wide angle when you're taking photos. When you go into video, then you've got that crop. So it really does crop in, so you can't go very wide angles. You've got to bear that in mind as well if you are going to be using it for video as well. And again, all depends on budget. So a lot to consider. And then, the full frame cameras from Sony, I almost forgot. The A7S, A7R, and also the Mark IIs of both of those cameras. Great full frame cameras that do really awesome video. So brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Tech Droids asks, this is something to do with YouTube. I've uploaded 160 videos, but I only have 420 subscribers. Is this odd? It's very, very hard to sort of break out on YouTube now and get recognized. There are so many content creators, and I think that that isn't odd necessarily. It's a hard struggle. There's no such thing as instant fame unless you strike it really lucky and get a viral video. I would say just really concentrate on producing videos about a subject matter that you're really passionate about, and then I'm sure that your viewers will actually pick up on that and your subscriber base will grow. But I wouldn't concentrate on subscriber count. I would concentrate on the interactivity you have between you and your viewers. You say you've got 420 subscribers. If they're all very, very active subscribers, then that's great, and that's something you should be proud of. So well done on reaching that number of subscribers, and just keep on going, you know, don't give up. We've also got a question from Darren Gator. Hello Darren, long-time supporter and commenter on the videos. I really do appreciate you tuning in. Darren asks, beside the camera and the processor, do you think smartphones have hit their plateau? I don't think they have. I think we can still see a lot more with smartphones, things like augmented reality features, maybe even better virtual reality features, screen technologies, and definitely battery technology. There can still be a big, big improvement in that. And we're going to see even better cameras as well on these smartphones with larger sort of sensors, and that will increase the quality of videos like this and photos as well. So I think there's still a lot more that can be done with smartphones as well. And you've given me the perfect segue to actually talk about this product here, a smartphone. So this is the Sony Xperia XA Ultra. Now, this particular smartphone came to me from Clove Technology. A big, big shout out to Clove Technology. Fantastic company for getting unlocked, SIM-free smartphones. This is a great value as well. I think it comes in at under £300. So this is what I would say is a mid-tier smartphone. 16 megapixel camera on the front, 16 megapixel camera on the back. It's running Google Android version 6 out of the box, but there is an upgrade to version 7 coming. I can't remember all the specifications, but this is what the box looks like. And this is, it's actually got a 16 megapixel camera on the front and a 21.5 megapixel camera on the back. A 6-inch Full HD screen, so not very high resolution. An octa-core processor, up to 2 days of battery life. And it's also got 16 gigabytes of storage in here as well. It supports micro SD cards, so you can extend that. Now, here comes just the one negative about this smartphone. I was going to use this for the live broadcast. The rear-facing camera, absolutely fine. The front-facing camera is really good if you're using the normal camera application. The rear-facing camera is really good if you're using the normal camera application. When you use the YouTube application, the front-facing camera hunts in and out like this, and it's really distracting. So that's why I didn't use this to do this particular live broadcast. Now, that's not a fault necessarily of the smartphone. It's a fault of the YouTube app. It wouldn't allow you to lock onto focus. So I switched back to the iPhone 7 Plus for this broadcast, which is a bit of a shame because I was planning on using this for the broadcast because it's got a nice large screen so I can see the chat on the smartphone nicely, but alas, it wasn't to be. But the actual picture quality is brilliant. In fact, what I'm going to do live on this broadcast is I'm going to take a picture with this smartphone, and let's try and get something that looks a bit decent. There we go. And I'm going to put this onto my Instagram. So this is going to go onto my Instagram. So if you want to, has it taken it? It hasn't taken it. Let's go back and do it again. So I'm going to actually publish this to my Instagram account. So if you want to follow Geekanoids on Instagram, then please do. There we go, photo taken. And you'll get to see how the camera performs live during this broadcast. So let's just type in my title for this, taken with the Sony Xperia, and it did an autocorrect. This is so funny trying to do this live. XA Ultra, and it is a really good smartphone, it really is. So let's share that on Instagram. So if you want to go to Instagram and take a look at instagram.com/geekanoids, or in fact just follow me on the app, and you'll get to see how this camera performs. I think it's a pretty good photo. You get to see what setup I'm using as well. So anyway, back to the XA Ultra. I think it's got a very good screen. It's nice performance as well. Really very, very good. That's what apps I've got installed at the moment. And it's just nice and snappy, transitioning between the screens. It's only a 1920 by 1080 resolution screen, which for a 6-inch screen isn't that high, but it's perfectly acceptable. The actual viewing angles are pretty good. The color saturation's pretty good. The brightness, this isn't up at full brightness at the moment, it's about halfway. The audio quality, when you're making calls, I think is really good as well. I've only made 2 or 3 calls on it so far. It does take SIM cards. There's a little cover here. So it does take a micro SIM, I think it is. And you've also got micro SD underneath this flap here. And the cameras, I think, are just brilliant, especially this front-facing one. Really very, very good quality. So if you want a nice, large smartphone with good performance, but without spending too much, then I think the XA Ultra is a really good choice. It's really well built as well. I'm quite surprised at how much I like it. It's just a shame about that camera not working brilliantly in the YouTube app, otherwise this would have been perfect, absolutely perfect. Now, the future of the live broadcasts, I'm hoping that within a month, Apple actually announce new iPad Pros. And if they do, then I will get an iPad Pro in and I'll try live streaming from the iPad Pro. That would be the perfect solution because I can see the chat nice and big there. It will negate the need for me to actually have a separate sort of screen on my laptop for looking at the chat. But that's planned for the future. But for now, I'm going to stick with this setup, the iPhone 7 Plus, and use the separate screen. So let's have a look at the chat again. We have got loads of, so many people joining in to the broadcast. I really do love it. Sam Ford, what are you most excited for at Mobile World Congress 2017? I am excited about the LG G6. Not so excited about the Galaxy S8. I'm more excited about the LG G6 because it's a little bit of a different format on the screen. It's like a longer and thinner screen. I think it's a 18:9 screen or something, some weird ratio. So they're trying something a little bit different. I think they're going to do the secondary screen on it as well. So it just looks good. Something different from LG. So that's what I'm most looking forward to. Review the best. More excited for the Galaxy S8 or the iPhone 8? Definitely the iPhone 8, without a doubt. And any more questions? Johnny Bravo, do you think Apple is going to remove the home button? That's a really hard question. Do I think they're going to remove the home button this time around? I would like to think they could. I'd like to think we're going to get edge-to-edge screens, you know, like pretty much a frameless screen, and then that sort of button built into the screen. That would be really very, very cool. And if anyone can do it, Apple will do it, and they'll do it right. And that would be very, very exciting. So I certainly do look forward to that. Darren Bird asks, is Google Home coming to the UK soon? The latest I heard on that product is a late April launch for the UK, but that is not definite. That's just something I've heard from a couple of people. So looking at sort of late April for Google Home. I still love my Amazon product. I'm not going to say the name because it's sitting over there and it will no doubt do something. Or I can try it. I can say, hey Alexa, turn on the smart plug. And it didn't work. Alexa, turn on the smart plug. There you go. This just came. See, I love Alexa. Alexa, turn off the smart plug. I just love it. I love home automation, I really do. If Google Home, or I'll say when, if and when Google Home gets launched in the UK, I'll definitely be covering it on the channel. I really will. Benny asks, what about streaming from a Mac in the office? So I think you're referring to the editing room. I have done that previously. It means setting up extra software. I like the spontaneity and the ease of use of just starting up the app on the phone screen on the iPhone 7. I just love the way YouTube Live works, and it's just a lot easier than doing it from a computer. But that's not to say I won't do that in the future. Next question is from Ghost051085. What do you think about Apple using OLED screens for the future iPhones? Very exciting. I think it will really make those colours pop on the screen. I mean, I've always liked the iPhone screens anyway. I think they've always been very good quality. But I think OLED for them would be amazing. I really do. It also allows them to do clever things with the screen as well, like maybe an always on screen. That'd be something to look forward to as well. Next question is from Dan MUFC 1999. Hello, Dan. Hey, Dave, you've probably asked this one before, but what TV would you say is best to get that will support the Xbox One S? I would say any HDR 4K screen that's available nowadays would be a really very good option for the Xbox One S. I don't personally have an Xbox One S anymore. I've gone completely across to the Sony PlayStation 4 Pro. I'm waiting for what Microsoft launches next. And we all know that's going to be absolutely fantastic. So I will bring you some coverage of that as well when the new Microsoft console gets launched. The Xbox One S I really liked, I really did. But I was just really pushed towards the Sony PlayStation 4 Pro because of the upscaling capabilities of it. There's also some new updates coming out soon, which allows you to actually, I think it's going to upscale pretty much every single game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a new update coming out soon. And I spoke to somebody about this just earlier. Somebody who's a really hardcore PC gamer, and they get really fed up with the setting up of chat between their friends on the PC, making sure they're all on the same service and getting a game set up and playing multiplayer on the PC. But they just find it so much easier to actually turn on the PS4, go into a chat, invite their friends in. They can all play separate games, they can all play the same game, and it's just instant and so easy. So I think console gaming has become so popular, and hardcore PC gaming not so much, although there are still a lot of people that are getting so into their PC gaming and spending a lot on their rigs, only to find that you know, you get these problems still. And somebody asked actually in one of the previous sessions how my Windows PC was actually going, and it's going extremely well. I've managed to get one of the issues sorted out, which was ingesting footage into Adobe Premiere Pro and actually being able to edit. I still got problems with it crashing when I'm exporting, but not so much on ingesting footage into the video editor. So I'm going to take a few more questions. We've got some problem with a person. I don't know. Let's have a look. Let's have a look on the chat on here. Somebody asking me to ban somebody. Let's just let it ride. It doesn't really matter. Let's ban Joe because we don't like all the swearing. There we go. Do you think the new MacBook Pros are worth the money? And that's from Aussie Leo. Yeah, I do. I mean, I've had problems with my MacBook Pro. This is one of the latest MacBook Pros, and I have had problems with lag on some things. It edits video beautifully, very fast. In fact, faster than my Mac Pro, the trash can Mac. They are expensive, but I think they're really great machines. But I just wish Apple would put a little bit more performance into them. I really do. Any more questions coming in? From Morgan Wright 123. Hey Dave, do you have any 4K UHD Blu-rays, and do you think that physical media for home video has a future? I certainly do, because streaming 4K is extremely bandwidth heavy, and I do think that there is still a place for physical media. I have a 4K Blu-ray player or UHD Blu-ray player from Samsung, and I have about 7 or 8 UHD films, including things like The Martian, which is absolutely fantastic, Really love that film. The clarity you get in the picture quality is absolutely awesome. So I do still think there's a place for physical media, and I absolutely love 4K. I think the biggest difference you can see in picture quality though is when you're actually stepping up to HDR. That's not to say 4K isn't a big technology, but I'm saying the step from 1080p to 4K wasn't as noticeable as the step from sort of a standard picture to an HDR picture. There's a lot more difference. Sam Ford says, do you think Apple will announce a VR headset along with the iPhone 8? Not personally, but never say never. Funster Productions, are you planning to do a video on the D-Link HomeKit camera? Not planned, but who knows? D-Link do send me bits to review. If they send me something into the channel and I think it's worthy of making a video about, then I will share that. Really love smart home technology, so if they do send something in, then I definitely will. Mr. Tech asks, do you like the iPad Pro and what do you think the new one will have? Well, the new one will have obviously a faster processor, probably the A10X processor. We're also expecting 3 different sizes now. So we've got the current smaller one, the 12.9 inch. We're expecting one in the middle. So that's going to be really cool. And I'm hoping they upgrade the cameras on it as well. So really looking forward to the new iPad Pro. Any more questions? So many people leaving questions. It's just amazing. And the chat's going really fast. So I can't see any more at the moment. Where is the Talking Virgin? Darren, did you tune in late? I was talking. Let's do a little bit of a recap. You must have missed this. This is me talking about the Virgin Media V6 box. I covered it right at the beginning of the stream. Just for those of you who missed it, supercharged, really good set-top media box. Fantastic. Virgin did really very, very well. You're so funny, Darren. Absolutely love it. Anyway, that is it for this broadcast. I'm going to wrap things up a little bit earlier this evening. Thank you again for everyone who has tuned in to the broadcast. I really do appreciate it. As I said at the beginning of this particular broadcast, I'm planning another one for this Friday, round about the 4 p.m. time again, GMT, and that will be a live Q&A. I'll be answering some of the questions that you posted in a previous video from some of my regular viewers. I've also had a few questions that I've had emailed in, and then I'll be switching to full live Q&A on Friday of this week. So please do tune in for that. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for all of your comments and thanks for all of your questions. I hope you liked the Sony Xperia XA as well. Great phone. And of course, that Virgin Media V6 box. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you again soon in another video, of course, on the Geekanoids channel.